We're going to go ahead and get started. I wanted to start by just going over a brief overview of acre value here today. Then we'll get into some specific use cases and what the platform can deliver as far as data. So really quickly, this is going to be our intro homepage to acre value. We've got a few places that we can go from here. First thing I wanted to address is our Market Explorer, a really powerful tool for getting a quick overview of either an entire state, specific county, or even a specific district as far as the trends in the area. So we here at Acre Value, we partner with Farmer Mac to get a farmland price index. As most of y'all know, with over the past year, land values in general have been on the decline, as you can see in this nationwide chart that provided. Right now, we're going to be focusing on the state of North Carolina from the last 2 years and give you an idea of some of the information that we can provide on the current state of the market. So in North Carolina, looks like sales price per acre is actually increasing. Average is about $5,510 per acre. It's going to go ahead and also break down the total amount of transactions, what the trend is there, how many sales happened, the volume. And you can go ahead and break this down, whether that be on a monthly, quarterly, yearly basis, whatever time frame you want. So very powerful as far as finding either highly active markets or maybe markets on the decline that you can swoop in and get a good deal on a piece of land. So again, a lot more data here as far as the transactions are concerned, sales prices. So quite a bit that we'll provide you from our Market Explorer. To backtrack, one other thing I wanted to touch on before we get into the software itself, we also have a bulk data calculator or bulk data self-service. So this is going to be give you the ability to maybe create a marketing list from whatever criteria you want to provide. I'm going to just pull up the most recent one I did for a customer. They were looking to find parcels that were eligible for a reforestation program. So they went ahead, selected 23 different counties in the state of Virginia, wanted everything above 200 acres of a minimum. Quite a bit of different ways we can filter these down, maybe specific land use. So whether that be cropland, grass pasture, forested, whatever the case may be, we can go ahead and apply some filters, generate some results, and get you an idea of how many either landowners or unique parcels can be found from your criteria. And we actually sell this on a per line basis. So not only is acre value good for the map and all the functionality within that I'm about to present, but we also export and sell that data as well if you'd like to either create a marketing list or any other use case for our data. So jumping into the software, I'm going to go ahead and focus today on a county in Arizona, high growth county, Maricopa County. And I wanted to go ahead and just filter out parcels that were 1,000 acres and above. So we're looking at large parcels here from maybe a developer or an institutional investor standpoint as to maybe what they would do when they're looking for parcels or looking to filter out go or no go for a specific parcel. So we're going to go ahead and focus on this grouping up here and show you some of the layers that we can overlay as far as getting that diligence, finding out if this is going to be good to go or not. Number one, most importantly, I think electrical is going to be important. You know, if the parcel doesn't have access to current electrical structure, power availability, it's going to cost a lot more to go ahead and add that in if they need be. So with acre value, we're going to go ahead and provide you any substation structures, distribution lines, transmission lines, what the voltage is, who is the owner of it, so on and so forth. So the power of acre value, I believe, comes in the ability to add multiple layers of data over a view. So as we can see in this group of identified parcels, there is power availability in the area. Great. Next step, I want to make sure there's going to be nothing in the way as far as, for example, a protected area. As you can see in the green here, quite a bit of protected areas in this area. It's going to go ahead and break down what it is. Looks like state trust land owned by the Arizona State Land Department. And it looks like biodiversity protection. So it's going to give you an idea of exactly where these protected areas lay. So we can go ahead and I'm going to keep those protected areas on, get rid of our electrical, and let's start looking at some other factors here. Fiber, as everybody knows, super important as of late. We present that in a hexagonal view, and the darker ones, higher fiber availability versus the lighter ones here. And you can get an idea, okay, about 2/3 of this area is covered in fiber, who owns it, who provides it, what the speed is. So just another example of some diligence layers that we can add on. And going from here, just to get into some more uh, different areas. So for example, FEMA flood zones, there is, even though this is Arizona, everybody thinks desert, there are quite a bit of flood zones in the area that need to be made aware of. High flood zones, where it is exactly. So it looks like a parcel like this would not be a great investment because it's got a huge flood zone running right through the middle of it. From here, we can get an idea, just showing you some other layers as far as building footprints. We can go ahead and highlight, see if the land has any buildup on it or not. And even stuff like, wetlands, go ahead and break down, works great in conjunction with the flood zone to get an idea, turn that on and off. As you can see, where the water flows and what areas are most likely to be affected. Any water bodies in the area, we can go ahead and take a look there as well. Looks like some water bodies here. And moving on to maybe important sites that need to be made aware of. So whether that be a remediation site, a brownfield site, maybe an old coal mine that was closed down. Let me zoom out a little so you can get an idea of the kind of sites, so brownfield sites, where it is, what the facility name is, Superfund sites. So quite a few different layers that we can overlay to say, okay, great. None of these exist in our target area, but as we can see, there is, as I mentioned again, some flooding risk in this area. From here, moving on to a specific parcel. So we found one that we like here in Maricopa County, and we want to get some more information on it. So the first thing we're going to be able to see when we click on a parcel is going to be our parcel card over here on the left-hand side. This is going to break down everything from the acreage of the site to the parcel ID, where it's located. Brookfield Holding looks like if we view all parcels with this owner, they just own this one parcel. If there was multiple parcels and we click this, we'd be able to get a view of everything that they own in the area. And then breakdown of what the land was and is used for. Our 2025 data just came in a few weeks ago, so we're hoping to get that uploaded here soon. But according to the 2024 data, it looks like about 2/3 of the land classified as non-crop land, some grass pasture, some fallow, and then about 7% developed. And if we want to go ahead and run a full report on this property, we can go ahead and click Get Full Report. And I've already got this generated here. I'm going to zoom out just a little to give you an idea of what a report on a parcel, what kind of information that can give. So we'll start up here. It's going to identify the parcel or parcels that you ran the report on. This is set up so it can function for multiple parcels, not just one. So it's going to give you a quick economic attribute for this county. It's a high tax county, and that's compared to other counties within the state. Maybe some physical attributes, zoning and land use. So again, cropland, developed, grass pasture, non-cropland. Zoning code for this parcel, if available, is going to be PAD, which is essentially Arizona's zoning code for zone for the ability to be built up for either mixed use, multifamily development. So a great place to throw a big apartment complex is what I'm guessing this land is going to be used for. From here, we can go ahead and pull comps for the target parcel, and we can go ahead and structure these. So if you're wanting to see comps from maybe a particular time period, we can go ahead and constrain that. We can go ahead and say, okay, I only want to see market. or I only want to see cash purchases or mortgage purchase conditions. Any of these are filterable and editable, so we can pull the most relative comps to what you were looking for. We'll go ahead and break down additional things such as distance from your target parcel, acreage of these parcels, as well as some more ag-related things like the top crop or land use, your soil quality, and any kind of tillability percent. From there, our next due diligence item on the report is going to be your heat map for elevation. As you can see here, break down exactly what the elevation lies here. If you're going to be building anything on here, you're going to want obviously a super flat land and need to know if there's going to be any kind of re-elevation, redistributing the earth needed to do a build up. So it looks like from our highest to lowest range, 1,234 feet above sea level, there's only about a 9-foot difference across the entire parcel. So that's great. It's exactly what we're looking for. From here, this is a non-crop land, so it's not going to have a lot of what they call greenness. Our NDVI is going to score how green the area is as far as density of vegetation on there. It looks like it is not dense at all, which for development standpoint is actually a good thing. So we want to see more of this red in this particular instance. From here, I just talked to a developer recently that said a parcel that they were developing was actually found to be not viable because of a particular soil on the ground that prevented them from achieving their goal on that particular parcel. So we'll go ahead and break down, where the soil is on the parcel as far as the type, where it sits, percentage of the field, soil class. Moving on from there, as you could see previously, there are actually quite a bit of flood hazard areas that we're pulling from FEMA in Arizona, but this one here is not showing, looks like a moderate flood risk across the whole parcel. And then going back to land use, it's going to give you that 5-year snapshot. So for the past 5 years, we can see that it's been pretty consistent as far as that non-crop land, fallow cover, development has been between 7 and 14%. And then to get a little bit into the items that we're pulling off the deed. So the acreage of the field, the tax amount, the assessed value, who owns it, where they are as far as their address, any legal description here. And I've just got 2 more to show y'all here. If any conservation easements in the area, does not look like there are any in this particular parcel. And then finally, giving you a high-level overview of any particular items of interest that may fall in or around this parcel. So our parcel is going to be the center of this radius. We'll go ahead and lay out any power generation plants, again, remediation sites, any substations, oil, gas wells, different things that can affect not just the value of the property, but also items for diligence that need to be made aware of before any type of advanced development occurs. And did have a question come through. Could you show the same example with an ag parcel? Yeah, sure thing, Charlie. We'll go ahead and we'll do a live search for an ag parcel. We clear out my filters. And we are going to go to my home state, the great state of Texas. Go ahead and zoom over here. Our land.com is headquartered here in Austin, Texas. Not a great place to look for an ag related parcel, but we're going to go ahead just north of Austin up in here in Williamson County. So I'm going to just go out here, more rural area, and we're going to pick one of these guys here. Bale Building Group. I do want to look for one that is actually for these purposes owned by an individual, so I can show you some different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and layer my parcel landowner labels over top. And once these generate, give it a second here. All right, well, that is not pulling up, so let me do this a different way. All right, perfect. So we've got piece of land here owned by Charles. Again, going back to if we want to view any other parcels that Charles may own, he does not own any more. But we can take a look here and see that he grows about 18% of this parcel is grows winter wheat on it. So using that as an example, when we run the report, we can see if winter wheat has been grown for the past 5 years or if there's any changes. So I already had a report generated for this other parcel. Usually these take about 5 seconds to generate, sometimes up to 10, but it is relatively quick. So let's jump down to that crop or land use history. So this map here is going to give you our crop cover. So it's going to, and you can click on any of these areas here, grass pasture, winter wheat. So yellow has got to be corn. And not just crops, but also land use. So you can break down quite a few different areas here, but it looks like winter wheat is an important crop for him, but as you can see, it does change. So 2024 was only 18%, but 76% the year before. So it looks like he does do some crop rotation, big corn grower for a few years, sorghum a little bit as well. And then from here, we can take a look. Definitely different elevation, a little bit higher of a range, 769 to 708 feet. So this is a good example of the difference across the parcel, where it starts as far as its high point, and it is going down from here. To give you a live idea of those sale comps and how we can actually filter these to what we're trying to maybe accomplish. So let's just say I only want to see other areas that are producing winter wheat, for example. I'm going to pull this time frame back just a couple of years for this purpose. And our target parcel is 68 acres. So let's just say I want to see everything between 40 and 200 acres. One is similar tillability percentage. He's at 30. So I'm going to say anywhere between maybe 25 and 75. And it'll go ahead and pull 4 fresh comps based on your parameters. As you can see here, looks like 45,668 per acre is our average for these comps. But if I quickly do something like, let's say, readjust, it'll go ahead and pull 4 fresh comps, and that'll change this value surely. So it looks like about the same average, but these comps were replaced here just based on that. So our comp database goes back to 2014. So we've got quite a bit of sales data in it. And I'm going to show you what that looks like here in a second. As far as flood hazard for this area, again, minimal. Soil survey breakdown, a few different types of soil laying over this particular parcel. Give it a breakdown of exactly where they lay, what percentage of the field. Ownership information, again, tax amount, assessed value, no environmental easements in the area. And then again, with our overview here, we can get a look at, okay, there is electrical availability. It's also an organic farm here in the area, just a couple. As far as these protected areas highlighted here, electrical, water bodies, any points of interest, all these little blue dots or little ponds or little water bodies, lake ponds. So quite a few different things that we can show here. Now, as far as the our sold land database, let's go ahead and clear these out. I'm going to do a search again. Just going to go ahead and say Texas. Let's go back to Williamson County, get rid of that. And I want to go back a couple years on this search. And let's say I just want to see everything 80 acres and above. And let's throw these filters and see what comes back. So we've got 57 different sales based on those constraints that I put in this county. And we can go ahead and switch to a list view here. So this is actually where our sales comps are pulling from, is our sold land database. This will give you a holistic view of all the sales for your particular filters. So we can sort these any way we want. as far as either sale date, which I'm going to go ahead and sort that here, but we'll also provide additional information as far as what it sold for, broken down by per acre as well, what type of sale it was, so sale condition. Market is going to be generally most of the sales you see in here, but as you can see, don't see these too much, but there was one foreclosure sale here. It's going to give you the information as far as who the buyer was, who the seller was, and then if it was a mortgage sale versus a cash sale, we'll also provide the available mortgage information as far as who the lender was, what the amount is. So very good information to have as far as either you're trying to find out what the LTV ratio is, land to value, or you just want to know if there's any existing encumbrance that if you go to attempt to buy this land, is there any existing mortgage on it or not, as well as that maturity date. And again, just quick overview, our land use, and go ahead and see a breakdown here on the right-hand side. From here, one other thing I wanted to touch on is through our parent company, land.com, we can actually also get in our current feed of any listed properties for sale. This is pulled in from land.com, as well as Land Watch and Land and Farm, all CoStar branded sites that are listing any existing land for sale. So we can go ahead and not just find unlisted opportunities to acre value, but also overlay any current actual listings through our sister sites. And Charlie, yeah, let me search for parcels with no homes on them, show you how we can do that. Let's see. Go ahead, clear these out. And I'm going to stay here in Arizona just to change it up a little. So again, Maricopa County, this is where Phoenix is located. So the easiest way to find land with no homes on it. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and exclude government land. And I think the easiest way to do this is going to be land use. We're going to obviously want, let's see, non-crop land or maybe grass pasture. And we want at least 75% of the field. And let's go 100 acres or up and see what comes back. All right, so quite a bit number of parcels, about 1,454. And the easiest way to do this, there's no specific filter for saying the land needs to be vacant of any buildup or not. But the easiest way to identify if there is any buildings is by using our building footprint overview. As you can see, this lit up any and all building structures. And as you can see on the parcels that we identified, this one here does have some buildup on it, but you can quickly identify parcels that do not have any kind of structure or buildup on them. And if you wanted to start building a list, we can go ahead and start clicking parcels, and it'll go ahead and add them to a pick list here. From here, you can then go in, run a report on these two parcels, and go ahead and generate the report that way. But that's going to be the easiest. Error here. Let me do that one more time. That's going to be the easiest way to find land that does not have any buildup on it. I apologize for the technical error. Let me go ahead and pick another one here. I think this is a good one, surrounded by tons of buildings, but no buildings on this one. And same thing, whether that be one parcel or multiple parcels, we can go ahead and identify very quickly with our building footprints tool if there is any kind of buildup. Now, one thing I want to mention on the valuation, acre value is best for land outside of built up cities. We like to say before the slab is poured. And I apologize, guys, getting an error here right now. I'm generating this, but essentially before the slab is poured. So our value and the majority of our data is going to be higher in areas where there's not a ton of buildup. So I wanted to just show an example in a more built up county like Maricopa County in the Phoenix area that we can still pull data in, but this is going to be where we mainly thrive, is in these outer areas where we can solely focus on the valuation of the land because we do not take into account any structures, homes, buildings when we are putting a value on the land. And comp sales tool filter the parcels with wind energy easements. Unfortunately, Richard, quick answer to that is no. The only easements we are showing are environmental easements. Now, something that might make sense, let me go ahead and show you one more filter that we can see if there are any current existing wind or solar farm or whatever the case may be. Let me go ahead and clear my filters. We're going to go down here to our power generation. So we've got three different items we can view here. And let me find an area where we're probably going to have a bunch of these. So power plants, we're going to go ahead and just get rid of those for this purpose. But we can show you where existing solar farms are, who owns them, what year it started, the capacity. So some high level information, but all these little sun icons are existing solar farms. So that'll probably give you a good idea of which areas have those wind energy easements, but not just solar farms, but those wind turbines. I'm not seeing any here in the area. Let me zoom out, see if I can find. I know in West Texas, there's going to be a ton of these. So let me just go out here. Zoom in a little more. So here's one out here. So wind turbine, same thing. High level overview, what year it started, how many turbines, project capacity, who owns it, manufacturer. So does that answer your question, Richard? And you don't have to answer in the chat, but that's going to be the easiest way because we're not actually listing out any wind energy easements, but we can give you the areas of existing wind turbines, if that'll give you an idea of where a buildup could occur. All right, well, we've got about 15 minutes left. That's going to be the end of my presentation, unless there's anything else anybody here would like me to show. I'll stay on for a few minutes, take any questions or anything y'all want to see in particular. But if not, we will send out this recording here in a few days, and I really appreciate everybody stopping by. Thank you, Richard. Yes, Charlie, let me pull my map back up. Let me show you a couple ways we can differentiate that. Excuse me. All right, so go ahead and go back. Just love using Williamson County as an example. I used to live right up here in Georgetown, currently live a little more south, but so ownership, there is a filter here, owner presence, that we can actually filter out. I only want to see out-of-state owners, or I only want to see in-state owners. So I went ahead and I just want to see owners that own land, and this might take a second because that's the only filter I use. So let me just constrain these results really quick to, for example purposes. So I'm looking at parcels between 10 and 20 acres that the owner is out of state only. So yes, to answer that quickly, we can show that. And there might be quite a few in this area. This is been a booming area in the Austin area for the last 10, 15 years or so. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that invested in land that do not live here. So yes, we can do that, but this might take a second to load these results. The more results it has to load, the longer it could take. But Usually never takes more than about 15 or 20 seconds for a search. Oh, thank you for telling me. 1 second here. I'll go ahead and do that one more time. So right up here under our filters, we can actually go ahead and use this owner presence here to specifically say I only want to filter out owners that are either out of state only or in state only. So the short answer for that is yes. See if I can filter this a little more just to get a quick result so we can take a look at an example and show you the out of state. So, okay, perfect. Got 13 parcels. So let's just take a look at a couple here. So again, this was 10 to 20 acres, 40+% cropland. I put these particular filters on just to go ahead and constrain our results for these purposes. And let me just pick one out here. You know what? Since these are two together, I'm guessing they're going to be the same owner. So let me use this as an example. Okay, so the Howards, Jerry and Martha, view all parcels with this owner, and it looks like they actually own all three of these parcels. So that's a good example of how we can quickly identify all parcels with the same owner. It looks like they live out in California, and we can identify that they do indeed own all three of these parcels. And one more thing, yeah, not a problem. Thank you for the question. One more thing I wanted to show, we do have integrated skip tracing as well. So if you are an investor that wanted to then outreach to the Howards and see if they'd be willing to sell or lease their land, we can quickly see with our skip tracing search who it is, how old they are, any possible phone numbers, alternate addresses, and so on and so forth. So. Alrighty, well, what I'm going to do for y'all, I should have done this earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and drop my email into the chat here. If y'all have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the presentation now. Please feel free to reach out to me. Always happy to set up another individual call if needed. But thank you all so much, and I hope you got something out of this today, and thank you again for the time.